Minister.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of IIIT Kota, welcome to the inaugural ceremony of Atal-sponsored faculty development program on IoT-based applied engineering. Today, for the inaugural ceremony, the guest of honor is Dr. O.P. Yadav, Professor Yaragatti, and the patron, Professor Ashok Kumar Vyas, sir. This workshop, this faculty development program has wide variety of experts like Dr. O.P. Yadav, Professor Navneet Goyal, Professor A.K. Gupta, then Dr. Anukam Mishra, and many other, Dr. Namita Mittal ma'am, Dr. Pilli sir, Dr. Amit Kumar, and Dr. Ankush Vijay sir. So let us start with the lamp lighting ceremony.
Hello. No.
Next year, Saraswati Vandana. After introductory speech. Now I will request our coordinator, sir, Professor Ashok Kumar Vyas, sir, to give introductory speech and welcome address about the faculty development program. Professor Vyas, sir, is a professor in civil engineering department at MIT Jaipur. He taken over the coordinator as its coordinator IIIT quota in the month of January 2020, and under Sir able leadership, the IIIT quota is achieving greater and greater heights. Now I welcome Professor Vyas sir to give his remarks.
Thank you, Parikshit. Starting. Dr. O.P. Yadav, who is our guest of honor, Director of Kazari, Jodhpur. Then we have eminent invited experts also from agriculture fields like Dr. A.K. Gupta, Dean Faculty, Chairman, SKN College of Agriculture, Jobner, Dr. Navneet Goyal, Dr. Mishari, and my faculty experts, invited experts from MNI Jaipur. I welcome you all to this program, which is targeted to improve the agriculture practices in the country. When we talk of IoT, it is really Internet of Things, directly connected to computer science engineering, and very rarely we hear the term agriculture in IoT or computer science and engineering as far as India is concerned. Now, it's a very good effort that IoT, we are taking agriculture field in which how the IoT can improve the smart farming practices, and it can bring up the production of agriculture in the country. When we talk of agriculture with reference to India, we already know that about more than 70% of the people in India are staying in the villages. Agriculture is the base for their livelihood and everything. So this is a major area where it needs to be upgraded to keep up the life of the rural India. When we speak of agriculture, it's not agriculture, this is also concerned with the allied areas, allied domains. When we are talking of agriculture here, we know that there is not a substantial progress in the agriculture production in the country. This might be because of this kind of smart technology has not come in the field of agriculture. If we are interested here to bring up the economy of the India, we have to certainly concentrate upon this field of agriculture. Now, I'll tell you some of the things here in which can be adopted in agriculture field to improve the economy as a whole. There are some smart sensors which are there in the use but not prominently used in the agriculture field. Maybe because of people are not aware of it, or it might cost a large, whereas our poor farmers are not able to invest much on these things. These smart sensors are very much useful as far as water supply to the crops, cutting of the crops, spraying of the fertilizers and insecticides. All these things are to be taken care by them. Now, when I talk of this water supply to the crops or to the agricultural field, this matters a lot, because in India we have scattered rainfall here. We are not very much blessed with the uniform rainfall. If you just see the area of Rajasthan, particularly western part of Rajasthan, in which we have Jodhpur, Bikaner, Jaisalmer, Jalore, all these areas are having scanty rainfall, so people are not able to use their land for agricultural purposes. Whereas there are some areas in the eastern part of India where there is heavy rainfall and people are not comfortable, because in the rainy season there is always flood and all. That situation always exists there. So we have to see that how particularly in the area where there is scanty rainfall, how can we best utilize the water, how can we conserve the water, and how this water can be utilized for agricultural purposes, so that this can help a lot in bringing up the production to the farmers. I'll tell you one of the examples which I came across just one year back only. I happened to go to Dubai for some work, in which I also visited a garden called as Miracle Garden there in Dubai. As we know that in Dubai, there is rainfall is scarcely, means only once or twice only we can see the rainfall there in Dubai. So they are facing a lot of problem here. They have adopted the technology of desalination. So the water from the sea, they are going to take it up and desalination. They are going to put in desalination plant after getting it to the standards. Then they are going to use it. So what I had seen is that water is also costly there. Desalination costs a lot, not very cheap. So those people, when they can afford such a miracle garden, I'll tell you the special features also. These people, of course, not dependent on the rainfall, but this water which has been treated is being supplied to all the vegetation or horticulture work in the garden through drip irrigation work. So just I asked some of the caretakers there in the garden, how do you take care? Because from morning till evening they are busy taking care of the visitors and all that. So how the people, so what that fellow said, that we are going to work on the maintenance part in evening hours, late evening hours. Then I said, how do you maintain for throughout the year? And he said, we don't open it, we just open it for 6 months a year. That's in winter season where the tourist influx is more. So that's how they are really doing a very good job, not only efficiently utilizing the water, but they are also attracting the tourists to that place. That's wonderfully planned. Another example what I've seen is in Israel. You see how efficiently the water is being utilized in Israel. With the least amount of water, they are going to get the maximum output from the Israel, and that too of the best quality. So we need to adopt those practices, especially in the desert part of Rajasthan, where it can be adopted to increase the production to the farmers and to bring up the living standards of the farmers. One more thing I also noticed here, which we are also utilizing in our campus, MNIT campus, is that we are also facing shortage of water here. So in this, we are also maintaining a good horticulture work here, and that too only with the sewage treatment plant. We are maintaining sewage treatment plant here, and the water which is coming up, which is treated after then this is going to be put in for the horticulture work, and we are not going to apply any fresh water because we can't afford to, because we don't have adequate supply of the fresh water that we can use for the horticulture work. So that these are some of the examples how can we save water. Of course, I also happen to be Dean Planning. I had just completed 3 years tenure some 3 months back. I emphasized on how water can be conserved in the campus. We have a large campus here. In this, the water which is there, we made it sure that water which is flowing is not going out of the campus. We have created some of the water harvesting structures, and we are conserving water, and this water is being utilized in our routine practices. So this is about the water. Now there are of course some other things which most of the experts who we have invited in this program, like Yadav Saab and A.K. Gupta Saab and Navneet Goyal Saab, Mishra ji, they'll be putting more light on how the smart sensor or technology can play an important role in bringing up the livelihood of the people engaged in the agriculture and allied fields. It's a very good, very well organized this program by our organizing team, and I know that our IIIT quota, which is basically concentrating upon the IT work, has also taken a good deal of interest. They selected this topic intelligently so that this becomes very good this becomes a good gesture for bringing the economy of the country. In IT quota also, I'll tell you some of the positive things what we have taken in the last few months is that when the lockdown was there, then we started, of course, online classes as other institutes also did. And in addition to this, our faculty also managed to hold midterm and term exams, and they successfully completed end term exams for all the students and then declared the results well in time. So when the ministry was informed that we have done all these things, ministry praised it like anything. There were very few institutes which could do this. So we were one of the leading in this area. In addition to this, when it's a lockdown and this kind of extraordinary situation is there, then we are also continuing with our other activities also, in addition to teaching and learning, which is already going on online. Other activities like just recently in this month only, we organized Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti on 2nd of October, and the program was well attended by many students and faculty. And I just tell you that after watching this program, I could realize that we are not staying apart. It's only physically we are apart, but mentally and all that we are there in the institute only. And we are, whatever the messages of Mahatma Gandhi were delivered through plays or some programs were really wonderful, well organized. Like I could see that all those students who were staying miles apart, they performed in their homes. They combined that clips and they very smartly projected in the program, and this is well organized program. In addition to this, we are also continuing with other activities which are there in the benefit of the students, and we always are there at the benefits of the student fraternity, not only fraternity, but the faculty also. So we are holding some of the faculty development programs. Probably in the last month also, we had taken up one faculty development program that was very well succeeded. In addition to this, we had also organized a program for the college teachers of the Rajasthan state. We had invited them. How could these virtual platforms, which could be introduced for regular teaching to the students, so that the students are not going to suffer anymore in this area in this time of extraordinary COVID pandemic. So we are putting all the efforts so that we remain useful to our faculty as well as for the students' fraternity. So again, I thank you, the organizing team, for such a nice organization of this event and inviting so many experts. Also, I'm thankful to the experts who are sparing their valuable time, and I hope that some value addition would certainly would be there, and the participants, all the faculty members, would be benefited by their deliberations. And I wish this program a great success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving a comprehensive overview and the application of this faculty development program. Now I would like to invite Dr. O.P. Yadav, sir, who is the Director of Kazri, Jodhpur, for giving his remarks.
Thank you very much. Let me first confirm that I'm audible to you.
Yes. जवाब नहीं हुआ,
म्यूट हो गए,
अपना ही म्यूट कर दो इसको.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for confirmation. Professor A.K. Vyas, coordinator of IIIT Kota.
म्यूट हो गया वापस.
Dr. Ashok Gupta, my wonderful colleague from SKN Agriculture University, Jobnel. Dr. Parikshit Kishore Singh ji, whom I am contacting for the last couple of weeks. Professor Namita Mittal ji, participants of this faculty development program, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, let me thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to get connected with this group, though in a virtual mode. Being agricultural expert, being a technologist, being a person who has been connected with the farmers, connecting with the people in a virtual mode is really a new thing, because virtuality doesn't work in agriculture. It is a physicality, it is the actuality which works in agriculture. But this is a new normal, and we have to accept the things the way they are coming in. So let me really thank organizers for giving me the opportunity to connect with all of you and to be part of this faculty development program, which is so important, which is so topical, which is so relevant today. I have also been asked to make a presentation during this 1 week long program. I will be sharing my detailed experience how this new development in IoTs can be connected with agriculture and farming. But right now, let me say that this is a very good initiative by MNIT and IIIT Kota. And the initiative that we have taken, it is really very timely. And the participants, as you mentioned, that right now I can see more than 110 participants. So faculty development program is extremely important. Once we develop the faculty, I think next target is the students and how then we can really take these things to agriculture, to farming. Friends, I coming from the agriculture background and being an agricultural scientist, and we all know that agriculture in our country, and for that matter in the whole world, is incredibly important. Each one of us need food 3 times a day, and it is agriculture, it is a farming, it is a farmer who really providing us that wonderful food that we like to eat. And food is not about the food grains. The food as on today, it includes cereals, pulses, fruits, vegetables, fish, milk, etc., etc. And agriculture in our country is more important than any other country in the world. As mentioned by Dr. Vyas in his opening remarks, that almost 2/3 of the Indian population is directly or indirectly involved for its employment, for its livelihood, on agriculture in the rural areas. And if we talk of recent past, since March 2020, when everything in this world, including our country, almost stopped, industry, tourism, hotel, railway, you name everything, and things almost stopped. Only one thing which didn't stop was agriculture. Only one group of citizens which didn't stop, who was not scared of coming out of the field, out of the home and going to the field, is the farming community. So that shows the kind of the resilience in agriculture in our country. And when we talk of the resilience, it's not that agriculture in our country has been resilient since beginning. We were so vulnerable in the past. Many of you might be knowing that in the early 1960s, we were net importer of the food. More than 10 million tons of the food grains were being imported under the scheme PL 480 of US, and we were waiting for those ships to arrive from US to India. Agriculture, farming, food security was very much vulnerable. But fortunately, the scientific intervention, international collaboration, very good support and priority from the government of India. If we start from 1965, in next 5 years, a new kind of history was created in our country, which the whole world is now knowing as Green Revolution. Green Revolution came largely because of increased food production in wheat and rice through dwarfing genes, and also through the hybrid culture in palm millet maize and sorghum. So the kind of the resilience that was built between 1965 and 1970, that has further strengthened. And it's not that the agriculture in our country is not science-based. The agriculture in our country, and for that matter in the whole world, is totally science-based, technology-based, and that's why we have progressed so much in the recent past. Some of you might be knowing that the wonderful achievement that I mentioned as a Green Revolution in late 1960s, that was rewarded in form of a Nobel Peace Prize to Dr. Norman Borlaug, who created dwarf wheat. So that is the importance of agriculture. Dr. Norman Borlaug said that you cannot create peace in this world on empty stomach. You have to fill stomach of this world. You have to fill stomach of each and every person in this world to create peaceful environment, to create a peaceful world. And that was the reason that though the Nobel Prize is not given in the subject of agriculture. It is given only in the 6 fields: physics, chemistry, mathematics, economics, peace, and one more, medicine and physiology. You can see the importance of agriculture and its work done in agriculture. When the work done in this area of the science is being rewarded in the Nobel Peace Prize. And the history has repeated this time. 2020 Nobel Peace Prize has been given to World Food Programme of United Nations just 3 days before. So you can see the importance of agriculture not only in India but in the whole world. And that agriculture has to be resilient. The agriculture has to be science-based. Agriculture has to be adequately policy supported. If we don't see these things in totality, if we don't bring things together in terms of technology, in terms of policy, in terms of government support, you can produce food, but we may not be able to provide it to every citizen in this world. That's why some of the regions today, particularly in sub-Saharan Africa, the technologies available in the world today regarding food production, regarding horticulture production, regarding milk production, but still some part of the world even today are food insecure because technology doesn't work in isolation. Technology works in an environment which is supported by appropriate policy, which is supported by the government. And unless you mix science and technology with the policy, science and technology cannot deliver. That's why we have to be very sensitive enough to really educate our policymakers, educate our teachers, educate all those people who are not directly involved with agriculture, but for their life, but for their food 3 times a day, as I mentioned, they depend on agriculture. So that is the importance of farming, particularly in our country, when 2/3 of the population directly or indirectly depends on agriculture, which includes so many parameters. So the agriculture in this country has been science-based, has been technology-based, and one of the best examples I gave just now, that the type of the dwarfing genes from some source of the wheat, Japanese wheat, when those genes were transferred into Indian wheat, the plant's height was reduced, its production capacity was almost doubled. So that was the first examples of science-driven growth in our country. After that, so many things have happened. New seeds of crops, new planting material of horticultural crops, new breeds of livestock who are capable of producing more and more with the limited resources that we are having in our country. That shows the scientific and technological base of agriculture in our country. Think about nutrient management. Think about water management. Let us also think about diseases and insect pest management. All those interventions in food crops, in feed crops, in horticultural crops, in livestock management, all have come through science and technology. Which means agriculture has to be very sensitive, extremely sensitive to the changes that are happening in the world around. And one of the things that has been changing at a very fast speed is Internet of Things, IoTs. And how IoT can be attached, can be brought together with agriculture. This is a new opportunity. And I think the kind of the opportunity that was available never before. The IoT has stormed the whole world, almost in every sphere of life. And if we don't connect the IoT with agriculture, I think we will be failing in our duty, which as a citizen of India, who are depending directly on agriculture 3 times a day, on daily basis, 24/7, 365 days a year. I think it will not be a complete story unless we do it. So I must compliment the organizers that as a part of the faculty development program, they are having a week-long program in which you will be talking about how the IoT can be connected with farming practices so that farming becomes more productive, it becomes more smart, it becomes more profitable, it becomes more resilient. And as our Honorable Prime Minister is saying for the last almost 3 years that we need to double the income of the farmers in this country. And the integration of technology and the farming holds the key to achieve that ambitious target of doubling the farmers' income by 2022. And it is so much important and so much vibrant in nature. I know it because Government of India gave the task of developing roadmap of doubling the farmers' income in Rajasthan. The task was given to a group in which I was the convener. We interacted with vice chancellors of all the state agriculture universities, State Department of Agriculture, State Department of Horticulture, State Department of Livestock and Animal Husbandry. And now that roadmap has been submitted to the Government of India, Government of Rajasthan. And one thing which has been clearly visible in that document is that we have to integrate technology with farming at every level. Let it be choice of crop, let it be choice of variety, let it be choice of nutrients, let it be choice of marketing, let it be choice of the technology in terms of reducing the cost of production. All those things revolve around the technology. With Internet of Things coming in way and storming the whole world, as I mentioned, I think this is one area in which not only agriculture, but every sphere of life, social life, is looking forward to this technology. And the deliberations that you are going to have in this 6-day long program, I'm sure it will be very effective for the faculty who are participating in this program. And I'm consider myself very fortunate that I was able to connect to you in a virtual way. But organizers and especially Professor Namita Mittal has given me an opportunity to again get reconnected with you in one full session in which I will be talking to you regarding what the agriculture is in our country, what is the importance, what are the challenges, and how those challenges can be dealt by combination of the technologies, one of which is Internet of Things. and I will be very pleased to come back on 14th probably is the day, is the time that the day has been allotted to me. And I was looking at the program. It is really very comprehensive, and this is one way of appreciating the agriculture, appreciating the farming, appreciating those 88 crores of the people in this country who are working 24/7 throughout week, throughout month, throughout year to provide us food in adequate quantity, in good quality, and as a technologist, it is our duty to provide that farming community a better choice. And those better choices will come through several multiple ways, and one of them is Internet of Things. And this is something I'm really very happy about it. And let me thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to be part of this inaugural function. And I'm really always very happy, very satisfied whenever I get connected with all those people who care about agriculture, with all those people and institutions and organizations who want to see the development of agriculture through integration of the science and hard work of the farmers. So thank you very much once again, Dr. Parikshit Singh. I'm really very happy and thankful to you. And because this is one of the opportunity, I'm able to see again my one wonderful colleague, Dr. Ashok Gupta from SKN AU, and many of you. And I'm sure this type of the program will connect this faculty who are participating in this faculty development program. They will connect not virtually. They will connect emotionally, physically, economically, and every kind of the option you can think of to the farming community of India. Because we need to respect them. If we don't respect farming community of India, we will not be respecting the food security that this country is basically enjoying for the last several years. So this is something, which is so close to my heart, and sometimes I become emotional while speaking about farming community. But this is the way I am attached to my profession. This is the way I am attached to the farming community and attached to everyone who talks about integration of technology and farming. Thank you very much once again.
Sir, for
एक मिनट चालू है क्या? कौन है?
on
कौन है क्या? क्या है? इस बटन से ही होता है ना? कौन सा? ब्लू कर नहीं हुआ अभी क्या? कौन सा प्रेस करना है? इधर आ जाओ करके। ब्लू खत्म हो गया वापस।
Uh, am I audible? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Very much.
Yes, sir.
Are you audible?
Very much.
Yes, sir. आ रही है।
हो गया तो इसी को ऑब्लियो आ गया है.
Thank you very much, sir, for setting the tone of this faculty development program. As you have rightly pointed, the vision of Honorable Prime Minister of India about doubling the incomes of the farmer by 2020. So this is, as you all know, the amount of land is almost constant. So what we can do, we can increase the efficiency in our that output, agricultural output. This is one aspect, and as you all know that around 70% of our rural population is still dependent on the agricultural, as a source of income. Looking at the economic survey of last year, 2019-20, we found that there was one mention about mechanization of that agricultural sector, where India is very much lacking behind. So if you see the developed countries like USA, there the mechanization of the agricultural sector is around 95%, and in Brazil it is around 75 or 80%, and in China it is 70%, something, whereas for India it is around 40 to 45% only. So this was one of the motivation for our this faculty development program, where we have chosen the Internet of Things along with the agricultural sector. So with this, we now I'll present the vote of thanks to you. So first and foremost, we would like to thank our Honorable Director, Professor Uday Kumar R. Yaragatti sir, and our coordinator, Professor A.K. Vyas sir, for constantly encouraging us, and to achieve greater and greater heights. I would also like to thank Dr. O.P. Yadav sir to become chief guest of honor for this inaugural ceremony. Thank you, sir. You will be also delivering a talk on 15th of October during the morning session. We would also like to thank all the experts for this faculty development program. The notable experts are Dr. O.P. Yadav sir, Dr. A.K. Gupta sir, Dr. Navneet Goyal sir, Dr. Ankam Mishra, Dr. Namita Mittal ma'am, Dr. Pilli sir, Dr. Amit Kumar, Dr. Ankush Vashisht sir, and then we will also have a session of happiness by Shri Narhari Das sir. Special thanks to that AICTE Teaching and Learning Academy, Atal, for sponsoring the event and accepting our application for this faculty development program. The thanks also goes to faculty members and staff members of IIIT Kota as well as MNIT Jaipur. We thank you all the participants for showing interest in this workshop. As you know that Atal has put a limitation of 200 participants, we have received the total application 250, which is the maximum number of applications that can be received as the condition set by the Atal Academy. So we have received the total 250 applications, so out of which we have selected 200 applicants on the first come first serve basis. We hope that we will meet your expectations about this faculty development program, and you'll be gaining the knowledge which can be transformed from lab to land as visioned by our Honorable Prime Minister of India. We also like to thank Dr. Vinita Tiwari, the Assistant Professor of IIIT Kota, and her team led by Karvi Mohanot, that for contribution of the cultural part of today's event. I would also like to thank our students Sanatan Srivastava, Nivi Upadhyay, Vaibhav Jain, Govinda Kumar and Bharat Kumawat for making the digital posters and various other digital contents for social media publications. At last, we would like to thank the MKN1 coordinator, Dr. Mushtaq Ahmed, and his team members for giving this support for broadcasting this event. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet again at 11:30 a.m. For the session 1. Thank you. ये बंद